All right, with us now is Congressman Jared Moskowitz, a Democrat from Florida. He is on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, thank you so much. A $400 million luxury jet as a gift. Laura Loomer hates it. How do you feel about it?
Well, thanks, John. Thanks for having me this morning. Yeah, look, Air Doha Don. I mean, I don't know what we're gonna call the plane, but obviously it's ridiculous. Can you imagine just for a second if Barack Obama had accepted a plane from Qatar? My Republican colleagues would be calling it the Barack Hussein plane.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to True Voice. Today, we're reacting to a wild interview with Congressman Jared Moskowitz, where he absolutely unloads on the Qatari jet gift to Trump, calls out the dead DOGE Caucus, and drops some hard truths about Medicaid and government efficiency. Let's watch.
Okay, I mean, this is just the height of ridiculousness at the end of the day. Okay, who gets a plane for $400 million and thinks it's free? Okay, first of all, it's going to cost about $750 million to retrofit the plane. That's number one. Number two is we're taking a plane from a foreign country. I mean, Putin's watching this thinking, what do I get Trump? Do I get him a yacht? Do I give him a piece of Ukraine, Trump Island? I mean, this is sending all the wrong messages, which is why you're seeing Laura Loomer, Ben Shapiro, Ted Cruz, and a number of my Republican colleagues come out. And the best part of this, the swampiest thing about this entire thing is the person who issued the memo approving the plane literally is a former lobbyist for Qatar. John, you can't make it up.
Congressman, you were talking about the spending, the $700 million of spending you could take to retrofit it. Spending, of course, is the focus of the so-called DOGE Caucus, of which you were an early member. How are things going with the DOGE Caucus?
Yeah, the DOGE Caucus is dead. You know, it had 2 meetings in 5 months. I was at both of them. They said we were going to be included in the process, trying to find waste and make government more efficient. And the caucus was never included. Elon and his crew did it all himself. By the way, they forgot the E part of DOGE. Nothing has been more efficient. Ask the people at Newark or flying these days if they feel that we've made the FAA more efficient. Nothing in government is working more efficient. Elon just came in and he got rid of people. He didn't know what he was doing. And so the DOGE caucus was never included. It doesn't meet. It's defunct. It's dead, period.
Congressman, what lesson do you take away from that? Sorry, I couldn't hear the end of your answer there, but what's the lesson you take away from that?
Well, the lesson is Congress's power is waning, and that's happening under Speaker Johnson. That's by intent. All of the power is going to the executive branch. And so Congress, who has a constitutional role, the power of the purse for appropriations, right, was not involved. They've not codified any of these things that Elon says he found. Elon said he was going to try to find $1 trillion. He claims he only found about $160 billion, even if I use his numbers, which I'm not sure are accurate. That means he failed by 85%. He gets an F for what he tried to accomplish. Look, John, there is waste in government, and there is ways to make government more efficient. That's got to run through Congress, and it can be a bipartisan basis. That's what they said they were going to do. They didn't do any of it. All they did was come in and fire people. They made government less efficient, okay? And there is no savings to the debt. They did nothing with dealing with our debt, and there's no savings to pay for this $4.5 trillion tax cut that they're also going to add to the debt. It was a complete failure, and the caucus here is dead.
All right, so Republicans say that Medicaid, that they want to reform Medicaid to make it more efficient and find cost savings there. And there was this tense moment at the Energy and Commerce markup overnight between Republican Randy Weber and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, where he basically accused her of grandstanding on it. Listen.
I just want to make the point that we'd like for you to address the Republicans, and let's have a dialogue this way and not to a camera. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
There are 13.7 million Americans on the other side of that screen right there. Hello? Hello. I'm talking to you because I work for you. And they deserve to see what is happening here. Because there are plenty of districts, including Republican ones, where 25% of your constituents are on Medicaid, 40% of your constituents are on Medicaid. And yes, I am talking.
Will the gentlelady yield?
I am talking to them, and I will not yield because it was a terribly disrespectful comment, and I will not yield to disrespectful men.
All right, what do you think of that? And again, I will note the Republicans, what they say is they're making Medicaid more efficient.
Well, number one, good for her. Number two, she doesn't need anyone's help. She's one of the best communicators up here. And number three, she's right on the point. First of all, Donald Trump said he's not cutting Medicaid, okay? And so, that's what he's been saying, okay? And yet Republicans come with almost $800 billion of Medicaid cuts, which is what the Democrats have been talking about for the last 5 months. There are members here in the House and the Senate said they're not going to cut Medicaid. And it looks like, John, we're literally on our way to capitulation. And so, this is taking health care away from our most vulnerable to try to offset some of these tax cuts. They're still going to add trillions of dollars to debt. Don't listen to me. Just listen to Chip Roy or Thomas Massey, who are saying that. And so...
Okay, first off, Doha Don, you got to admit, that's a pretty hilarious jab. But in all seriousness, let's talk about this $400 million jet that Qatar gifted. Look, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, or independent. Accepting a luxury plane from a foreign government raises massive red flags. You can't call yourself America first while taking presents from another country. That's not patriotism. That's pay to play. He's not wrong here either. This thing is going to cost $750 million just to retrofit. That's taxpayer money, folks. We're not just taking a free plane. We're buying into a massive bill with zero accountability. And the guy who approved it used to lobby for Qatar? Seriously? This is what drains trust in our institutions. Americans are tired of the swamp, and this is exactly what it looks like. I'm not here defending anyone, but if Obama had done this, conservatives would have lost their minds. That's the hypocrisy Moskowitz is calling out, and frankly, he's right. Now let's talk about this so-called DOGE Caucus. Moskowitz basically declared it dead, said it had 2 meetings in 5 months. 2. That's government at its laziest. This was supposed to be about cutting waste and making things efficient. Instead, Elon Musk came in, fired people, and claimed victory. But firing folks without a plan isn't reform, it's chaos. And let's be honest, finding $160 billion instead of $1 trillion is a massive shortfall. You don't get a passing grade for failing 85% of your mission. We need real reform, not performative politics. All right, so AOC had her moment. And like Moskowitz said, she doesn't need backup. She made a powerful point. When 25 to 40% of constituents in Republican districts are on Medicaid, cutting it by $800 billion is not making it more efficient. It's ripping healthcare away from the people who need it most: veterans, children, seniors, the disabled. Look, I'm all for cutting waste. I'm all for smart spending. But slashing Medicaid while planning $4.5 trillion in tax cuts? That's not balancing the budget. That's robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's morally backwards and fiscally insane. Bottom line, Moskowitz brought the heat. And whether you like him or not, he raised real issues that cut across party lines. We need accountability, we need transparency, and we need to put American people, not politics, first. Let me know what you think in the comments. Was Moskowitz right? Are these reforms a scam? Hit that like button, subscribe for more real talk, and I'll catch you in the next one.